This video is sponsored by Noregon, the commercial vehicle data experts. Visit noregon.com to learn more.
What's happening here? What do you mean? Well, you're data, Jason. You always stand here. Well, not always. Well, yeah, always. I don't know. I thought I'd change things up. You can't change things. Change things up. You can't change. That's my computer. What am I supposed to do? I'm over here. You're over there. Can't you just like data transfer flashy thing places? That's better. You know, I did this on purpose. Of course you did. Well, we have to highlight the importance of capturing data and staying consistent. And I bet you are gonna start monologuing to tell us all about it. You got it. Truck service technology is driven by data. And there's a common saying, junk data in, junk solutions out. When you're making equipment decisions, whether it's when to buy a new truck, or when to do the next PM, or when to stock your next round of tires, you can't just guess. You need to use data to ensure you're operating as efficiently as possible, and that means capturing service data. And when you do that, consistency is key. Consider tires. While there are plenty of service solutions that can capture fault code and service information, tires are still a standout segment that requires manual data capture. You want to be certain that you're building a database that can be imported into a future solution. So let's use this as a benchmark use case for collecting data. Here are the basic data points you're probably already collecting: tire pressure, tread depth, mileage, and position. What you should add is tire brand, series, and if it has been retreaded, number of times it's been retreaded, and the retreader that did the work. Next step after that is DOT casing age and reason for removal. Now that's a lot to record during service, and the fact is that tires get rotated, pulled, and put in new positions without a second thought. The real challenge is making sure you stress the importance of recording that information in a consistent way. You need uniform units of measure and tire nomenclature. It might look like a bunch of columns and rows, but if they're uniform, that's a lake of data that the right future solution can analyze and tell you where you're leaving money on the table when it comes to your tires. For more tips on data collection during the service event, here's our Noregon Pro with some advice.
Technicians need to use tools that are capable of pulling as much data and information as possible from all the ECUs on the truck at one time. And that's a big first step. They also need to use tools that allow them to confirm that information is correct and accurate, and then modify it as necessary. Because getting good VIN information into the system that you're pushing to is very important. And it's 17 digits with letters and numbers, and it's real easy to fat finger them. And then that leaves a lot of room for error. Then there's the mileage with multiple digits. There's engine hours with multiple digits. And then you got to be able to validate that, right? So with JPro, we pull the VIN from any ECU that reports it. And we use rules for preferred sources. And they vary by OE, and by the system that we're pushing to. And we do the same for mileage and hours. And then after we've pulled that information, we ask the user to validate that. Now, we've actually had pushback from some of the end users that are like, well, that doesn't match. Well, that's the whole point, right? We're wanting to ensure that the data that they put in is accurate. So why doesn't it match? Well, believe it or not, these ECUs on these trucks move around a lot. There's a lot of trucks that are sitting in yards that get cannibalized. As soon as there's damage to a truck in a wreck or whatever, they start using the parts off these trucks to keep the other trucks running. So you'll have ECUs that don't match VINs. They didn't get programmed when they got put in. They didn't change the mileage. And so that's why we built those features into our software, is to allow the user to validate, check that stuff. The VIN may not match the data plate at all. The mileages may be greatly off, right? There's always a little bit of difference in the mileages that the ECUs are reporting. But sometimes you'll see vast differences, and the users typically question that immediately, and we're trying to help them, in those cases. Then you got to think about, the possible, thousands of fault codes that are on these trucks, and however many different combinations of codes there are and numbers. And you got to get all that stuff right when you push that into the system. So I think those are the very important parts of what we're talking about.
All right, so stay consistent when collecting data and stress the importance of collecting that data with the technicians on the floor. You got it. And stay on your side of the shop. All right, all right. I'll stand here next time when we talk about one of the most important data collection tools in your arsenal, VMRS. Thanks for watching.